Well, welcome to Emergency Procedures video. Thank you for serving on staff this summer. And in order to make this available for day camp staff, teams, and in pre-summer for counselors, etc., we recorded this for your convenience. Number one, I'd like to state that we do live in a 911 area, meaning if you dial 911, fire and or medics and or police will respond. But one of the first things that they will ask you is, what is the address you are calling from? So you do need to know the camp address. 30919 Northeast Carnation Farm Road, Carnation, Washington. Now I like to be the one who decides if we call 911, but there are obvious exceptions to that rule. If someone is bleeding profusely, if somebody is not breathing, that's an automatic call 911, then we call Jack. Otherwise, when it's a questionable call, I'll make that decision. In the event of a fire, take your campers to either the soccer bowl or to the big rock near the boating pond as directed. Because the sound system may not reach all areas, our emergency warning is the consistent and continued ringing of the chapel bell. So if you hear that bell ringing, and especially you know it's not chapel time, and it continues to ring, that's a sign to stop what you're doing and listen. When you get to either the soccer bowl or the big rock, account for all your cabin, have them kneel down, take a seat in the grass, and remain there until dismissed. Keep them quiet and remain accountable for that. In the event of an earthquake, the standard drop, cover, and hold still applies. And then once the shaking is over and it's safe to do so, evacuate again to either the soccer bowl or the big rock by the boating pond as directed. Again, line up by cabin, account for all your campers, and remain there until dismissed. In the event of a swimming pool emergency, remove all swimmers from the pool immediately and give your full attention and obedience to the lifeguards. It's imperative that when you hear that whistle from the lifeguard and they say everyone out of the pool, that you immediately begin getting your campers and any campers next to you out of the pool as quickly as possible so that the lifeguards can direct their attention to the emergency, not making sure that everybody's out of the pool. In the event of a severe cut, attempt to control bleeding. Usually a direct pressure is the best way, whether that's placing your hand over the cut, preferably a clean bandage, even a t-shirt or something, sweatshirt that you have, direct pressure over a severe cut to minimize the bleeding as quickly as possible, and then contact myself and the camp nurse as soon as possible. Any minor cuts, bruises, insect bites, scratches, stub toes, take your camper down to the nurse's office and to the first aid station and allow them to treat as necessary. For injuries on the ball field or the courts, whether pickleball court, basketball court, in the event of a fall that could possibly be a spinal injury, leave the camper where they are and call for the nurse and myself. Don't move the victim in the event of a potential spinal injury. Now you do need to use your discretion. A stubbed toe on the ball field can be brought to the nurse. But if it is a potential spinal injury by falling hard or getting knocked down, whatever it is, the important part is there a potential for a spine injury? Yes. Okay, we don't move them. The same thing for injury in the cabins. If there's a risk of a spinal injury, don't move the victim, call for the nurse and myself. Again, small injuries such as jumping off the bed and stubbing their toe or hurting their foot. Those can go to the nurse. In the event of unwanted visitors to the camp, contact one of the directors or program staff members immediately. Keep your campers inside and under supervision from another counselor. If you have to go someplace to notify myself or one of the program staff, make sure that another staff member has your cabin under supervision as well. In the event of a missing camper, you get to a location and you line up and you're missing one, and you do diligence in making sure they're not in the bathroom, they're not in their bunk, they're not at the activity you just left. To notify the program staff immediately, or myself if I'm closer, and again, keep the rest of your cabin together and we'll begin looking for that camper. One of the reasons we line up so much at Camp Gilead is for accountability. It's not because we really like lining up, but if we periodically line up and account for all our campers, we lower the risk of losing any of them. And then lastly, with regard to an active shooter situation, unfortunately in the world with which we live in, this could be a potential. If possible, move quickly away from that area. Take your campers to the nearest hiding spot away from that person. Go behind trees, under bunks. Close your doors if you're inside. One important one is spread your campers out rather than clumping them together. This goes totally against what we normally do. We normally want all our campers together with us. Once you've accounted for your campers, then move away and spread them out as much as possible. And then once you are in hiding, don't leave that hiding spot until law enforcement officers come and give you the okay to go to wherever they directed you to. They need time to sort out the situation. Again, not likely that we would encounter this, but we always want to at least talk about it so that we're somewhat prepared. So move away from the area, spread your campers out, close any doors, barricade the doors if you're in your cabin, take any precautions that you can, and then wait until law enforcement arrives and specifically addresses your cabin and directs you what to do. Thank you for watching this. Hope it will be valuable, and we extremely hope and pray that you will need none of it. Thank you. Bye-bye.